And continuing with the Raven Boy from the Golden Harp from the Grey King. So Will is kind of testing out Bran the Raven Boy, who told him that he met Merriman and that he, the Raven Boy, could say the first three lines of the poem that Will needs to remember to get Will to trust him, and Will's still figuring it out. He said experimentally, "Bran." "What?" "Nothing, I was just practicing. It's a funny name. I never heard it before." "The only way it is funny is in that English voice of yours. It's not Bran like a breakfast cereal. It's longer sounding. Bran. Bran. Bran," said Will. "Better." He squinted at Will over the top of his sunglasses. "Is that a map sticking out of your pocket? Let's have it here a minute." Will handed it over. Squatting on the hillside, Bran spread it out. Squatting on the hillside, Bran spread it on the rustling bracken. "Now," he said, "read out the names that I point to." Will peered obediently at the moving finger. He saw Talilin, Mynyd, Siswin, Semaes, Lanwin, Machelnith, Affendiffy, Langelin. He read aloud laboriously. Talilin, Mynyd Seswin, Semaes, Lanrin, Machinleth, Affendiffy, Langelin. Bran moaned softly. "Oh, I was afraid of that." "Well," said Will defensively, "that's exactly what they look like. Oh, wait a minute, I remember Uncle David said you pronounced F like V, so that makes this one Avendivy." "Dovey," said Bran. "Written in English, Dovey." "The Affendiffy River is the River Dovey, and that place over there is called Aberdovey, which means the mouth of the Dovey. Aberduffy, the Welsh Y, is mostly like the English U in run and hunt." "Mostly?" said Will suspiciously. Well, sometimes it isn't. But you'd better stick to that for now. Look here." He fumbled inside his leather satchel and brought out a school notebook and pencil. He wrote, Mynyd Seswin. "Now that," he said, "is pronounced Munneth Kaisuin. Kais, like rice. Go on, say it." Will said it, peering incredulously at the spelling. Three things there," said Bran, writing. He appeared to be enjoying himself. "Double D is always a sound, but a soft sound, like in leather, not in smith. Then C is always a hard sound in Welsh, like in cat. So is G, as a matter of fact. It's always G as in go, not as in gentle. And the Welsh W is like the oo sound in pool, nearly always. So that's why MYNYDD CEISWYN is pronounced Munith Kaisowin." Will said, "But it ought to be un at the end, not in, because you said in Welsh Y is like you in run." Bran chuckled. "There's a memory. Sorry, that's one of the times when it isn't. You'll just have to get used to them if you're going to say the places right. After all, you can't complain about us not being consistent when your old English is full of things like dough and through and thorough." Will took the pencil and copied from the map. Semaes and Langelin. "All right, then," he said. "If C is hard, then it must be Chemeyes." "Very good," Bran said. But a hard S, not soft, said fast. It comes out chemis, like chemist without the T." Will sighed, looking hard at the next sample. hard G and the Y sound, so it's Llangollen. You're getting there, Bran said. All you have to learn now is the one sound most Englishmen can never manage. Open your mouth a little way and put the tip of your tongue against the back of your front teeth, as if you're just about to say Lan. Will gave him a dutiful look, but did what he was told. Then he twitched his lips upward and made a face like a rabbit. "Stop it!" said Bran, spluttering. "Get educated, man. Now, when your tongue is there, blow around the sides of it. Both sides at once." Will blew. "That's right. Now say the word Lan, but give it a bit of a blow before you bring it out, like this. Lan, Lan. Lan, Lan," Will said, like a steam engine, and stopped in astonishment. "Hey, that sounds Welsh." "Pretty good," said Bran critically. "You'll have to practice. Actually, when a Welshman says it, his tongue isn't like that, and the whole sound comes out from the sides of his mouth. But it's no good for Sace. You'll do it all right. And if you get fed up with trying, you can take the other English way out and say, L like th. "Enough," said Will, "enough." "Try just one more," Bran said. "You wouldn't believe the way some people say this one." "Well, yes, you would, because you did too." He wrote, Machynnlleth. Will groaned and took a deep breath. "Well, there's the Y and the L. And the TH is sort of breathy, the way the Scots say loch, at the back of your throat, like. Why do you people make everything so complicated? Mac on lech. Machynnlleth. Not bad at all. But mine doesn't really sound like yours. Yours sounds wetter, like German. Ochtung. Will yelled suddenly at the top of his voice, and Caffel jumped up and barked, tail waving. "Do you speak German?" "Good Lord, no. I just heard it in some old film." "Ochtung! Machynnlleth!" "Machynnlleth," said Bran. "You see, yours does sound wetter. Sploshier. I expect all Welsh babies dribble a bit." "Get out of here," said Bran, and grabbed him as Will dodged away. They ran down the mountain laughing in a wild zigzag, with Caffel bounding joyously alongside. But halfway, Will stumbled and slowed down. Without warning, he felt giddy, his legs weak and unreliable. He staggered to a nearby wall and leaned against it, panting. Bran yelled cheerfully over his shoulder as he ran, satchel flying, then slowed, stopped, looked more carefully, and came back. "Are you all right, then?" "I think so. Head hurts. It's my stupid legs, though. They give out too easily. I suppose I'm still getting better, really. I was ill for a while." "I know. I ought to have remembered." Bran stood fidgeting, cross with himself. "Your friend Mr. Merriman said you'd been even more ill than anyone realized." "But he wasn't there." Will said, "Well, not that means a thing, of course." "Sit down," Bran said. "Put your head down on your knees." "I'm okay, really. Just have to get my breath back." "We're very close to home, or we should be. Just a few hundred yards over that way." Bran scrambled up on the high, dry stone wall to give himself a better view. But while he stood there, suddenly a great angry yell came from the other side of the wall, and the barking of dogs. Will saw Bran drop himself up tall and straight, where he stood on the wall, looking down haughtily. He heaved himself upright to peep over the slate-topped edge, past Bran's feet, and saw a man approaching at a half-run, shouting and waving one arm angrily. In the other arm he carried what looked like a shotgun. When he came closer, he began calling to Bran in Welsh. Will did not recognize him at first, for he wore no hat. Then the tousled head of raw red hair was unfamiliar. Then he saw that it was Caradog Pritchard. When the farmer paused for breath, Bran said clearly, pointedly, using English, "My dog does not chase sheep, Mr. Pritchard, in any way. He is not on your land. He is over this side of the wall." "I tell you, that is a rogue dog, and he has been worrying my sheep," Pritchard said furiously. His English was civil and heavily accented, thickened by rage. "Him and that damn black hound of John Rowland! I will shoot them both if I catch them at it. You be sure I will. And you and your little English friend there had better keep off my land too, if you know what's good for you." The small eyes in his flushed, pudgy face glared maliciously at Will. Will said nothing. Bran did not move. He stood there, looking down at the angry farmer. He said softly, "Bad luck you would have if you shot Caffel."